very excited about this one. I absolutely loved this show. It was really great to have like a 5-year anniversary back in the same place. I thought that was just so wonderful, and I'm so excited to talk about this. So, I'm just going to jump right into it. If you haven't seen one of these before, I love to talk about storylines and outfits and matches, but mostly outfits. And it's just supposed to be a little bit of fun. So, let's start with the pre-show, which started with Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo. To start with the outfits, Thunder Rosa is in a blue Elvis themed outfit, which I love. And then on the back, there are 21 crosses on it for the victims of the Uvalde shooting. Which is, you know, a little bit of a tamper, but I thought it was really nice that she was able to share something that seemed very personal to her, and was able to kind of honor them in this way. Very interesting. I thought that it was a great first outfit to set the tone and to also mean something to the person that was wearing it. Deonna comes out in all green feathered cowl that comes up behind her, and it's so pretty with this green tulle skirt. And when I say green, I mean like green, like school color green, which I thought was just so fun. I like that they both went with, like, I feel like the truest version of the colors that they went with. She was in very much a true green, and Thunder Rosa was in very much a true blue. So now on to the match. I honestly really enjoyed this. This is the match that has now sold me on Deonna. I hope that we will get to see more of her. I feel like we haven't seen anything from Dynamite, Rampage, or Collision yet for the week after. But, like, I love how Deonna sells in this match. I think that it is so fantastic. I think she sells just so well. She ends up making Thunder Rosa look just brutal. This is a very grapple heavy match, which I usually don't like, but apparently with women I do, because I really enjoyed this match. Some standout moments. Thunder Rosa does a drop kick through the ropes onto the outside, which I thought was very fun. Deonna ends up winning the match because she grabs the bottom rope to win, which I thought was very fun. She came out looking heelish and strong, and yeah, I feel like I really liked Deonna in this match. It made me really like her overall as a wrestler, so I don't think that you can ask for a better start to a show than that pre-show. We get our first DraftKings commercial. I always like to count because I know it's the pre-show, but I think it's so funny that there were ads on the pay-per-view that I paid $50 for. So I always think that's funny, just something to note. We cut backstage to Lexi with the Acclaimed. Billy Gunn calls Lexi Penny, which is strange. Lexi looks amazing. She's in this hot pink blazer dress that has like furry, feathery trim, which I like. I tend to always like Lexi's outfits. I think that she really understands how to dress in a professional yet kind of trendy way that I'm kind of obsessed with. It was at this point that the power in my house went out, which was, you know, horrifying for a second. I was about to switch to my laptop to watch. But then it came back on, so it's fine. So what I ended up missing was the announcement of the Owen Hart Memorial Cup, which was wonderful. I think that they always do that in a really tasteful yet exciting way. I was really excited about the one last year. I'm excited for the one this year. And then when my power came back on, I am greeted by the Vegas Golden Knights mascot, a Gila monster named Chance, who I love. So this next match is the Acclaimed versus Cage of Agony, which is the cutest name, by the way. Like, the fact that they were the Gates of Agony, and then they wanted to rebrand, so they just went with Brian Cage's last name. That's so cute. I love that. It's so funny and wrestling-like that I just think it's so funny. It's so cute. Anyway, they are all in matching gold and black outfits. If you recall, I usually love Brian Cage's pay-per-view outfits, but I also just love that he usually his trunks, which are just like split down the middle, one color and another color. He has been doing that lately. And I heard I was reading online, apparently people hate split trunks. Lame. I love color blocking, so sorry that you just don't get it. The Acclaim come out. Max Caster did this little rap. He mentions Toa's feet. And there is a absolutely diabolical zoom in on Toa Leon's feet. Got the cameras. So we get a standout comment of the night from Excalibur, who says that there's no kink shaming in AEW. Hello. I don't understand how people don't like Excalibur. I think he's so funny. The commentary team for the entire show is just on one. Like, they are having so much fun. They're joking around. It's so funny to me. So fun. We hear, as the match starts, we hear Daddy Magic, who is on commentary, refer to Daddy Ass and himself as Daddy Brothers. Another standout comment, just like 30 seconds after Excalibur's. There's a lot of fun moments between Billy Gunn and Brian Cage through the pose off to start. They go over the top, but they like really have to teeter on that top rope before finally going over, which I haven't seen before. I don't know if that was like planned, but it sure looked it because it was so fun. We get Toa Leon stepping on Max Caster, which really brings back the foot stuff from before. So you have to love, long-term storytelling. Bowens is actually taken out of the match quite early, and for quite a bit of the match he's on the side, but he does end up coming back to save Billy Gunn from a cover, of course. Brian Cage is out there with a chair, and he is going to, get to swing it. But luckily for the Acclaimed, Chance, the Vegas Golden Knights mascot, takes the chair away from him, thus thwarting his attack. Which ends up leading to Billy pinning Khan for the win. This match is match of the night for me, and I don't even care. I don't care what anybody says. A match where a hockey mascot interferes and then scissors the Acclaimed at the end is tailor-made for me. Like, they didn't even have to say, "That's Chance." He came on the screen, and I went, "Oh my gosh, Chance is here. Like, he's a real person. This was tailor-made for me. It's fantastic. I also wrote down, imagine if this is how they bring MJF back. Like, Chance takes his head off and it's MJF. That's foreshadowing because I manifested MJF coming back in the show. Spoilers. We get into the actual pay-per-view now. We're done with the pre-show. Justin, the ring announcer, is in a red and black color schemed suit. He looks amazing. He's always on theme, thank goodness. We start with Real Ospreay versus Roderick Strong for the International Championship. This was the match that I was most excited for. I don't know if I mentioned it in my last video, but like, when Roderick Strong became international champion, something just like clicked, and I all of a sudden like got it. Like, I think he's so interesting and so fun to watch, and I'm loving his character. It's all clicked. Everybody else apparently was like, oh, obviously Will Ospreay's gonna win the international championship. I did not think that. So that's on me. I was in denial. We end up getting Don Callis on commentary. I wrote down that I am such a Roderick Strong fan now that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy some merch. But I am trying so hard to convince myself that it's cute. I'm like, maybe if I get the Undisputed like crown shirt, maybe if I get it like a size bigger, I can crop it and then it'll be cute in like a Y2K way. I don't know if it's happening, besties. I don't know if I can convince myself that this merch is cute. So if you would like to convince me that this merch is cute, I'm begging for any help in helping me convince myself that this merch is cute. So we'll start with outfits. Will Ospreay enters in a shiny gold and teal outfit. Usually we see him in more of a green, but this is definitely a teal, maybe even an aqua. I really like it. I think it's a good color on him, and he should wear it more. And again, I should have realized this color change means that he's going to win, because whenever somebody wears something significantly different and they don't hold the championship, they're gonna win. If they do hold the championship, they're gonna lose. So usually one of these like bigger outfits kind of signifies a title change, at least from what I think. Maybe that's wrong. I don't have statistics. Roderick comes out in a hoodie, which I wanted to dislike, but it's completely color blocked, so I simply can't. It's like a black body with white sleeves and then silver trim and a white hood. So I can't dislike it because I love color blocking, and he is wearing the split trunks with black and white. So yeah, I love half and half trunks, and I'll stand by that. I think it's a good design choice and an easy way to communicate the color scheme that somebody is wearing. So we actually get started with, before the bell, with Ospreay interrupting the Undisputed Kingdom while they're doing their little poses with the spotlight and the music, which is rude, but I'll let it pass. There is a catapult on the outside from Roderick to Ospreay into the ring post, which my mom loved. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen that before." She really just doesn't realize, which is okay. That's so fun. So, always want to call out the stuff that my parents like. Taven and Bennett do a joint move where Will is on one of their shoulders and the other goes over the top rope in order to like hit Will on top of the other person's shoulders. But he hits the rope on the way down and like almost like goes head first on the ground. He almost tips himself over. Luckily, Will and the other are close enough that he doesn't, but oh my gosh, that was so scary. He came down in like a way that looked really bad. Seems to be okay. We've had no reports of injury from what I know, so yay. But that was our first worryingly, kind of, oh, I don't think it was supposed to go like that spot of the night. Bryce is, of course, distracted by this and then ends up missing Roderick, messing with Osprey, and he gets a ref you suck chance, which will not be the last time that Bryce specifically gets ref you suck chance, which is wild. Wardlow shows up, he doesn't end up doing anything, he gets thrown out. Boo. Wardlow should be able to do whatever he wants whenever he wants. Will scares the crap out of me because he's selling a messed up knee and it freaks me out. There is, like, obviously it's a Retro Star match, so it can be backbreakers. They look so impressive. That's it. They just look crazy. There's just a beautiful sit-out powerbomb, which I only mentioned because I noticed that it was really well done, so it had to have been just amazing. The ref is checking on Roderick. Don tells Osprey that he has to do the Tiger Driver in order to win. Osprey ends up not listening to him, giving Strong an opening, but then Osprey still kicks out. Yay. So he didn't listen to Don, didn't want to break Roderick's neck, which is the whole point of this match. Roderick wants him to do the Tiger Driver, which is a move that Will retired, and Will doesn't want to do it. So Don is trying to convince him, go ahead, break his neck. He has to go to the hospital anyway. Crazy thing to say. The end of Heartache is countered into the Hidden Blade, and we end up with a new champion, Will Ospreay. That was a crazy finish that I just loved. It was so much fun. Countering, trying to be thrown up in the air and coming down with your little elbow out. Crazy. Again, I thought that during the match they had quite a few contingencies built in, like the Kingdom coming and messing things up, and interference and all that stuff, that I honestly did think that Roderick Strong was gonna win, because it felt like they were saving Will from it, but they weren't, so that's very fun. Adam Cole ends up coming out to talk story time with Adam Cole, baby. He says the Vegas sucks. We get a bunch of boos. They are yelling so loud over Adam Cole until we get a video package. And I don't even have any notes from this because I am going to be able to tell you exactly what happened just from memory. We get a video package. We're going down the long hallway of what I assume is an Airbnb. We open the door to a room to see a shrine to Maxwell Jacob Friedman, with his suit sitting there, his scarf, pictures from matches, the dog collars from the CM Punk match. We see somebody put the Dynamite Diamond ring on. Then, like Regina George in Mean Girls, we see a hand hold up half a photo of Adam Cole to then be rejoined by the other half of that photo with MJF. That's cinema. That's, first of all, Mean Girls. That is so Mean Girls. It's unbelievable. I screamed, he is Regina George. Then MJF's music starts playing. Out comes Maxwell Jacob Friedman in a leather jacket and denim vest, which is so funny because I had just watched Brian Zane's, who's wrestling with regrets, video about when Triple H returned in that outfit and how much he wanted to wear that combo. So MJF comes out in his best Triple H cosplay. They meet in the center of the ring. They hug. MJF pulls back, kicks him in the groin. We knew it was gonna happen. Big cheer. He gets a mic. He says that he's committed to the company, that he is the wolf of wrestling, and to show how committed he is, he pulls up his pant leg to reveal a poker chip AEW tattoo. Which people keep sitting there and they're like, it doesn't even look that good. It's embarrassing. Guys, shut up. He's a tattoo of a lion with a crown. That's the most man tattoo you could ever get. Let him have a sentimental tattoo, okay? He's best friends with Cody Rhodes. I don't know what we expected from a guy who was best friends with American Nightmare family logo tattooed on his neck to show his commitment, okay? So he's re-signed with AEW. All is well. The crops are growing. Drought is over. I'm so excited. I'm filming this on Tuesday. He's gonna talk on Wednesday. Fantastic. I had a psychic vision of this. And I mean, so for real, I was on a walk the week before. One of my nightly, 2-mile walks that I do around my neighborhood. And I was thinking, and I was like, how is MJF gonna come back? And I go, well, he's gonna come back at this. And I go, and he's gonna come back full baby face. I manifested this. You're welcome. So next we have Death Triangle versus Bullet Club Gold. Death Triangle comes out in matching black and yellow outfits. Pac is wearing a color. He's wearing bright yellow armbands, dark gray trunks with yellow striping. I could not believe it. Could not believe that this man, who I've only ever seen wear all black and sometimes dark gray, is wearing a color. So we have to give it up to the Lucha Brothers for getting him to do that. Great job, guys. Slay. I love achievement matches. We know this. Jay comes out. He gets a robe instead of a cut-up t-shirt. I actually really like the robe. I think it looks good. Just like one of those very stereotypical boxing robes. And the guns, Austin and Colton, are in these peach, white, and green printed pants. They're not my favorite because I think it was supposed to be camo, but it kind of just looked like mold, which is really mean for me to say, and I don't want to say it. It's kind of what it looked like. So unfortunately, I'm so sorry. During the match, this one is also a very fun one, and also probably the second, maybe the one I was looking forward to the second most. It was very fun. We get classic moments like Jay yelling for the ref anytime anybody does anything. I think that is such an underrated heel move. I think it's so funny because it's very kid you're playing tag with who calls a timeout as you're about to tag him. I think that's underrated. Pac does a giant hip toss to Colton, where Colton goes over Pac's shoulder, hits them. It's crazy. I loved it. There's a triple drop kick from Death Triangle. Yay! I love Death Triangle. I'm so glad that they're back together. It's amazing. Pac gets destroyed on his neck with the move, and I hated that because again, it scared me. Phoenix is jumps off, hits Beth the shoulders, and then on to Austin, who is down below. fun. Like, it's just fun. It's a fun match. There is a handprint on Pac's chest from how hard he has gotten chopped, which is wild to me. Not like, oh, it's red, like visible handprint across his chest. We get towards the end of the match. Pac is about to jump off. We're so excited because we think that we may get a black arrow. Juice Robinson shows up, who has been off TV, I assume with an injury, for quite a while now. Shakes the rope, lips. Actually, no. I think that he just pushes Penta. I don't even think that he shakes the rope. Then we get a Blade Runner from Jay White. Pac ends up taking the pin. Bullet Club Gold has won. There's a pretty fun celebration in the middle of the ring where they're all so tired and all like hanging off of Juice. And it's just funny because he's so hyped and they seem exhausted, which I loved. Beautiful style. Then we have Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb for the Women's World Championship. Serena has, I think, really pretty braids that have like pieces of like ribbon braided into them, and a wonderful fur trimmed robe that I love. Toni's hair is very pretty as well, kind of like slick backed, but it has rhinestones all on the side of it, so it's like shining and sparkling. It's very pretty. During the match, Toni ends up biting the rope to get a rope break, which commentary is loving, and so was I. There are a lot of holds in this one, which I think fits both of their styles, but it's just not my personal favorite, but I wasn't bored. Deeb tried a knee strike in the ropes again, but Toni expects it and kind of like gets out of it, which I like. I like when people seem like they're learning about their opponent throughout the match instead of just countering, more like anticipating what they're going to do. Deeb slaps Toni at one point, and it slaps one of the clips out of Toni's hair. It goes flying. It was a great visual. If it wasn't dangerous, I would say that more people should wear more things in their hair so that we can see it like pew. Which I just found out the other day, the reason that wrestlers like wet their hair down is like partially because it looks really good when they get hit and like the water or gel or whatever goes flying, and like they're right, like correct. I just didn't know that that's why. It was like part of the reason. I thought that was very fun. Mariah May, who was on the outside with Luther, who were on Toni Storm's side, obviously, at one point tries to throw the towel into the ring, but Luther wrestles it from her hands, so that when Toni turns around, all that she sees is Luther holding the towel, which I'm interested to see because I think that that could be a moment that they build off of a little. Like maybe Luther's in trouble and he has to do more stuff for Toni now or something. And he tries to throw Mariah under the bus. Or like later the clip comes up when Mariah is trying to pick between Toni and that other woman whose name escapes me right now, who's from New Japan. I think that that could be really fun to like expose it to Toni. Like Luther's like, you've been letting me eat, this for months, but you were gonna throw in the towel, losing her the championship. I would love that. Deeb does kick out of a Storm Zero at one point, but eventually Toni does end up getting the win and retaining. We get a lovely black and white celebration with, I think there was confetti. Yeah, confetti. And Mariah May laying down with Toni on the ramp so that they can enjoy their victory together. Next, we have Trent Beretta versus Orange Cassidy. Guys, it has been so bad for me with the best friends breaking up. Now good, because they're on TV more, but bad for me personally and my mental health. I'm joking. So Trent finally has new theme music. It starts with the best friends theme, and then it like melts into this like black screen with red scratchy text. I love that. I thought it was so fun. So theatrical. He's also wearing new pants. So I have to describe these pants to you because I'm gonna be mean again. So I need you to picture black leggings, you know, like wrestlers wear. And then from like the inside of the thigh to the knee, the inside of the knee, are these red kind of like half circles. It looks like a period stain. Like a huge period stain. And I just couldn't stop laughing. He needs different pants. I'm so sorry to whoever made those. They're beautifully made. Just the red in that position just looks like a comically large period stain that's going down his legs. And I'm so sorry. I just feel like nobody was talking about that. And my mom and I both immediately went, yikes. Orange is going to enter. They play his old music for a second. He does not enter, and then all of a sudden, we hear "Where Is My Mind" by the Pixies. First of all, I love that song. Just love that song. Then he enters. He's wearing a darker wash of denim and a black version of the Orange Cassidy t-shirt. We're in the dark Orange Cassidy timeline. This is how like such subtle changes make such a big difference. Because I don't know if like everybody noticed that the wash of denim that he was wearing was a darker wash than he usually wears. But subconsciously you did. You were like, he looks different. He looks meaner or like ready to fight. It's just different. They end up punching each other right away, right as the match starts. Orange kept like making these like gagging or like throwing up noises, and it made me want to throw up. This was like weirdly one of the best mic'd matches of the night, which is very funny. Trent continually eye gouges Orange Cassidy. That's just fine, I guess. Orange absolutely kills Trent's back on the steps. Yeah, at one point, Orange appears to be asking for a hug. Ow. Orange ends up winning, which we knew was going to happen because he was wearing a different outfit than he usually does. He wins. Chuck does not come out, which is terrible for me because they said they retired, but I just don't believe that. But I feel like I might have to start believing that. But Rocky and Renee comes out, and when Renee tries to interview Trent as he walks away, he says that he's done. So I'm like, are they both retired now? As we know from Wednesday, they are not. He is now in the Don Callis family. But I'm loving this story. I need Chuck to come back so bad. Please don't actually be retired. I also need Wheeler Yuta back because he was right about Chris, which we will get to, and about Trent. So I am so interested to see if he says anything. If he has a little bit of a thought about that. Next, we go to Hook versus Chris Jericho versus Katsuyori Shibata for the FTW Championship. I'm going to be mean once again. I hate the learning tree angle. I hate it so much. Like, genuinely, it has not been even a little funny to me. When it gets on, I get up to pee. I cannot stress to you how annoying I find this angle. I think that it is kind of callous to hear people's criticisms of you, or the fans' criticisms of you, or like their want for you to maybe like take a break for a couple months and then come back a different person and go, okay, I will acknowledge all of those, but if I say that I'm doing it as a heel, then that's fine. It's like, you've been a heel. Do you think you've been the good guy in your storyline? It annoys the crap out of me. And I was honestly kind of disappointed in this match because I feel like I could have booked it better, but we'll talk about that. So Hook is very, very quick to pull out a table since there are no rules. Basically, I don't know if that's basically or all the way or what. I still don't really understand what FTW rules is, so I'm just gonna say no rules. Jericho pulls out a bag that usually has some text in it. He throws it down. It's dice. I did actually very much like this spot. Not necessarily the dice, but when Hook and Shibata team up to pelt Jericho with the dice. That's funny. Then they do a double suplex. Beautiful. They both, Hook and Shibata, grab kendo sticks, then Jericho does too. Fine. They kind of fight with them, and then they both beat up on Jericho with the kendo sticks. Yay. Like, that's what kills me, is that Jericho seems to get that, like, people are tired of him, but the way that you do that isn't to be like, I know you guys are tired of me, so I'm gonna stick around. Like, it just doesn't work for me. There's a table that does not break, which scary. Big Bill comes out, beats up Hook a little. Still don't really get Big Bill's involvement quite yet, nor do I really like him as a personality yet, because I feel like they haven't done enough work into making me care about him. Bill goes through a table and the leg of the table doesn't collapse, it just goes through the table, and like, he is so close to like spearing himself in the head or like knocking himself out, but luckily it like goes through his arm and his head isn't close enough to it to hit it. That was scary. Now we have the bounty hunter, Brian Keith, show up, and he beats up Shibata and Hook, and I go, oh my gosh, this is so smart. Brian Keith is going to take the championship because there's no rules. Like, it's a no rules match, so maybe somebody can just enter at some point, and if they knock everybody out of the ring and none of them get up in 10 or whatever, Brian Keith wins. He gets the championship. No. Jericho wins. Brian Keith was just brought out as a hitman, and everybody was like, oh, but he's a hitman, he was just hired to do that. And then on Wednesday he came out and was like, I love Chris Jericho, you guys should all love Chris Jericho. And I'm like, this is so boring. I feel like my ending is so good, like it would have pushed Brian Keith way higher than I think he is going to get with Jericho. I fear he is going to get sucked into Jericho vortex, and I think that Brian Keith is really cool and has really cool outfits and a really cool kind of gimmick, and I didn't love it. We do get to end though with Hook taking out a bunch of security guards, which is good. So that's how I would have changed the match. I think that would have been better. Again, I didn't see a lot of people talking about thinking that that's what was going to happen, so maybe that was just me, but I think that that would have been cool because it's a title and no rules, really. So do that. Anyway, next we get to Konosuke Takeshita versus John Moxley in an IWGP Eliminator match. So he's like trying to get an IWGP title shot, I believe, if he wins this. Maybe that doesn't sound right now that I say it might be for the championship. Konosuke Takeshita comes out in a beautifully made black coat with like panels of sparkly fabric. It's the most beautiful coat I think I've ever seen. It's definitely outfit of the night because it's just, coats are so hard and it is such a beautifully made coat. Max comes out with one arm taped up, which I loved, and I think it makes him look really tough. When he did come out though, I did think that he came out in like a cropped shirt with one sleeve, and I was like, okay, this is a pretty big fashion statement. Now that was his arm tape. So we get to the match. It is very slow to start with a lot of arm attacks. Sorry about that. I'm filming in the morning. It's just a little bit too slow for me. I like seeing Takeshita move. It's very slow for me. There is a wheelbarrow German suplex to Mox, which I can't remember what that looks like, but it was the first time that I had heard of that move, and it looked fun. There's a Death Rider to Mox as well from Takeshita, but he kicks out. Takeshita introduces a chair, but Mox ends up stomping Takeshita's head into it, pins, and wins. So I didn't really have a lot to say about that match. It just wasn't my match, which is fine. Not every match has to be for me, you know? We are on our fourth DraftKings ad of the night, which I think is just a little bit ridiculous, you know? Next, we have Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black in a cage match. This one was so cool. Malachi starts his entrance with that big House of Black flag that they like rip down from the ceiling, but nobody's with him, which I thought was kind of sad, but that comes into play later in the match, so it was okay. He looks kind of like wigged out, like he's like looking all around and everything. He seems very alert and very aware. We get the Brood and Adam Copeland. All red. Again, another beautiful coat. This one is a beautiful red trench. And he pops out of the floor. That's so fun. Love that. I did look at the cage and was like, why is the cage so small? And I realized it's because I feel like we only see the cage over the 2 rings for Blood and Guts, and that's why it looks so small, because there was only one, which I did just think was funny. So we start the match. We get chairs, hitting chairs. They're both pew pew with chairs. Copeland goes eyes first into barbed wire, like Malachi's pushing him onto the barbed wire, and Copeland is opening his eyes up as wide as possible. Hey, Doc. Hey, I am so scared of anything happening to my eyes. It's not even funny. We get maybe 4 minutes in, and Malachi is already just covered in blood, just drenched, which just so funny. We get some barbed wire bat shenanigans. We get a power bomb by Malachi off the top rope through a table, and Adam brought the barbed wire with him to he went to grab on and grabbed onto the barbed wire. Ow. Adam begins wrapping Malachi with the barbed wire while he's laying on a table. So scary. Copeland then climbs to the top of the cage, jumps off feet first to try and elbow drop Malachi through the table. We now know that ended up in a broken fibia, I believe. So he will take some time out. We've obviously made a new tournament for the TNT title. Very scary. I was like, there's no way he didn't break his leg. That's not possible. He gets Adam back up. Malachi kicks him through the cage door. Beautiful visual. Absolutely love that. Brody and Buddy end up coming out. They stand opposite Malachi Black next to Adam Copeland. And I, for a split second, was like, oh my gosh. And then I was going, where's Julia? Where's Julia? Julia. Where's Julia? Because if you know anything about me, it's that I think that Malachi and Julia at one point should fight for custody of the disciples of the House of Black. I think that would be so fun. Thank goodness though, Brody and Buddy do not turn on him. They end up beating up Adam Copeland. Great job. Malachi puts on a necklace. We're back in the ring now. Malachi puts on a necklace that holds Adam's wedding ring on it, which he had taken earlier in the week. Earlier in the week, I think. Well, Buddy and Brody wrap his head with barbed wire, very biblical. And after some waiting, they're wrapping, and then they're kind of looking around like they heard something, which I like. Sell it if you're gonna, if we're kind of late to a lighting cue. The lights flicker. We get all red. Brody walks over to a hole in the canvas. Something then hits him in the face, and then out comes Gangrel, who I knew right away. People were like, nobody remembers Gangrel. I know Gangrel, and I didn't even watch wrestling then. I started watching wrestling 4 years ago, and I know who Gangrel is, so slide. That was so cool. He then wraps the crown of thorns around Malachi's head. Malachi passes out. Adam Copeland is able to get his wedding ring back. He walks hand in hand with Gangrel up the ramp, and Gangrel gives him a little kiss on the head as he's the new TNT champion. It's just very cute. That's so adorable. I love that. Yeah, that was just so cute. Great match. Perfect guest. It was great. Next, we have Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship. Mercedes had this video package beforehand that talked about how girls can do anything, which is great. It was a little bit Dove ad. It felt like, if that makes any sense. But then I was back on board when she brought out the drum line and the showgirls. She is wearing the most complicated gear I've ever seen. There are so many straps. It is fully sequined. I don't know how she's staying in it. I'm so impressed by her gear. It's unbelievable. Stat and Stokely come out and they with Willow, and they're carrying a friendship bracelet. Rude of them. Willow looks amazing. Her hair is stunning. It is so fluffy, and it's in a half up, half down, and it is so cute. She's in a white outfit with pink sparkles. This match was also great. Mercedes is mean in the ring, and I love that. She yells, she makes ugly faces, she's mean, she's kind of like cowardly in the way that she fights, and I don't mean that in like I guess I mean that in like she'll do like, you know, the most aggressive things instead of maybe fighting like a fully fair fight. I loved it. This match has fully sold me on Mercedes Moné. She does a leaping double knee onto Willow, which I love. That's such a cool move, and she's done it in the next match, so she must be known for that. She fights exactly how I would expect somebody of her stature to fight. If that makes sense. Like, it's such like a kind of like skinny girl way to fight. I love it. It's so fun. It's so mean. Yay. Willow does absolutely body her at one point, and then at one point catches her midair off the top rope, slams her onto the mat. Yes. As Mercedes kicks out, Willow is like digging sparkles out of her eyes, which I thought was very funny, and also nursing her injured knee, which is attacked a lot during the match. Willow ends up a knee breaker to Mercedes on the apron. Scary. Chris ends up, you know, trying to get on it. The ref goes over to look. Now Stokely is distracting the ref. They cannot see that Willow has pinned Mercedes and is there for the 3 count, so it doesn't happen. And this is when I went, oh no. Oh no. We get the moneymaker. Mercedes is the new TBS champion. It's so bad for me. It's unbelievable. Then Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway turn on Willow Nightingale. This is terrible. And then I was like, where's Jimmy Hater? Jimmy Hater, come make the save. No. It's so bad. It's terrible. I hate it. But it's a really good match. I actually really did like it. Next we have Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage for the AEW World Championship. Shayna Lane looks amazing in this sequins pinstriped suit. Mother Wayne always looks good. She's always giving mother. Swerve has a little movie play, and then Prince Nana comes out clanking beer bottles together, asking Swerve to come out and play. Swerve then comes out with a red leather headband, which looks amazing, red leather vest, beads, black pants with red leather accents. It is from the Warriors. Did I even write this down? No, not at all. It's from a movie that I did not recognize, but a lot of people seem to. I'm sure it's fantastic. Swerve starts the match by literally doing like a major flinch to Christian, which I loved. There's a DDT to Swerve that is just right onto his head. Nick Wayne ends up getting a little bit involved. He cheap shots Swerve. There's lots of eye gouging and body shots throughout. Swerve pulls the turtleneck over Christian's eye so he cannot see, beats him up for a while. At one point, Shayna Wayne tries to use the belt to interfere. Prince Nana wrestles it out of her hands. Then Nick points that out to the ref, leading to Prince Nana getting thrown out. Rude. Luchasaurus and Nick are beating up Swerve on the outside. Not Luchasaurus anymore. Killswitch. Killswitch goes to hit Swerve, accidentally headbutts Christian instead when Swerve ducks and Christian is behind him. He stomps on him, throws Nick, Swerve stomp, but Christian moves. He then spears him, and then Swerve kicks out. It's a crazy sequence of events that all just happens one right after each other. Eventually, Killswitch, Shayna Wayne, and Nick Wayne are all thrown out. They both slide up the apron from the outside at the same time, which I really liked. That little scooch back in. There is a fight to see who is going to hit the stairs, and ends up Swerve is hitting them by leaping to the outside. Nick runs back out to give Swerve a cutter off the stairs. Then there's a kill switch from Christian. Swerve still kicks out. Yes. Nana then chases Nick Wayne out of the ring. Not the ring. The ring area with a pipe. He comes running down. I've never seen him run so fast. Swerve is dragged to the Spanish announce table and tries to kill switch, but Swerve counters into a stomp on the table, which does not break, which also looks like it hurts. There was a house call, kick in midair, which was great. And then we get the Swerve stomp, another house call, and Swerve ends up retaining. Super fun match. I know a lot of people had a problem with this pairing to start. You were wrong. Sorry. I always was like, who cares that they don't have like a lot of beef? And they do, because he had beef with Nick Wayne, but whatever. It's a cool match, and let me have it. And that's what it was. It was a cool match, good match, fantastic. It's at this point that I realized that it was 11:54, so we were going to be going over, which was great. So last, we have Anarchy in the Arena, which is the Elite versus Team AEW, which I know they have to call it, but oh my gosh, that is such a boring name. The Bucks' new music, I know this is a while ago, is vaguely Succession-like, which I think is very funny. They have a Young Bucks X Reebok themed outfit with their robes and obviously the shoes. Kazuchika Okada is in his normal outfit. He just looks great, so I have to acknowledge it. Jack Perry gets a new entrance, which is interrupted by Team AEW getting them all on the ramp. And I was like, oh, his new entrance got interrupted. So Team AEW is just going, and then we hear Darby's music. So we get to hear that as they're fighting Darby's music. Then Matthew Jackson gets up there and goes, let's play our theme music. And then we get the now immortal line from Bryan Danielson of turn this shit off and play the best wrestling theme song of all time. And we get Bryan's indie theme, The Final Countdown, which is just so fun. So now they are fighting with The Final Countdown playing in the background. We reach the concourse. Dax is taking 2 shots, and as the final countdown in the song hits, Darby jumps off of, like, you know, the top of the railing onto a pile of people below. Perfect match. At one point they go to 4 screen, and then they never do that again for the rest of the match because it looks awful and I hated it. But that's okay because they only did it that one time. Bryan throws Okada down the stairs. He looks very proud of himself. We finally get Matthew Jackson back on the mic asking to turn that shit off because it is costing him like $200,000 every time it plays. So now we just have regular match, no background music. We do get several chants of "We Want Music," which is very fun. There is a little sign that says Rainmaker Drive that Okada loves, which I think is very fun. Darby and Jack are backstage, and then outside fighting. Darby pushes Jack into this cooler full of water and tries to drown him, I guess. Okada flips us off. Then Cash bites Okada's finger. That's still up. Gross. we get a scapegoat bus back outside with Darby and Jack, which Jack drives into a pile of garbage that Darby was just in, and then seems to have knocked himself out when his head hit the steering wheel. So, that's fantastic. Darby emerges after a while to punch Okada. The Bucks powerbomb Darby onto the chairs that are on the outside, then drag Darby's limp body up the ramp to then put him on the elevator that they came out of that's in the stage and lower him down through the stage. Loved that. How could you not? We get some fighting by the famous poker chips, and they fight there for a little bit. FTR and Brian all kind of getting their shots in on the Elite, also taking some. We get Nicholas jumping off of the top of the entrance tunnel onto a table with Cash Wheeler on it, both going through. Jack is walking backstage, still seemingly wet from the water that he was drowned in. Sees Tony, kidnaps Tony. Darby now enters with a flamethrower and sets Jack Perry on fire. What am I supposed to say about that? That's so cool. Set them on fire. Perfect cinema. Tony falls down the ramp, and they don't show it on the TV, but I've seen the videos so it makes sense, and keeps rolling down the ramp and then scrambles off. And I love that Tony Khan has really allowed himself to be a damsel in distress in this storyline. Fantastic. Darby hits Okada in the yam bags and then hits a coffin drop to the Bucks to break up a pin. The Bucks are now tying Darby's legs to a winch that they've lowered from the ceiling. If we remember, Darby broke his foot, so probably not great. And then they raise Darby up above the ring, a few feet. And he's hanging there as they beat him up, and he does fight back. But, there's only so much that you can do. Okada ends up going, try these, and holding up the collab shoes like he does in the commercial, which I love, but they are covered in thumbtacks on the bottom. They both Matt and Nick super kick Darby to the face with the thumbtack shoes as he's hanging there. Horrifying. Danielson ends up taking the shoes off of Matthew and hits them both with it. There, I am writing, Brian, please get Darby down, but Brian is going for it. He is doing some kicks. He ends up hitting the Busaiku knee. Okada ends up breaking up the pin, though. There is a please help Darby chant that breaks out, which is fantastic. Jack Perry reemerges. He knees Brian in the side of the head, pins to win. Darby is still hanging there as they finally slowly lower him down from the ceiling as Jack Perry rubs his hands in Bryan Danielson's blood, and we end with the Elite in victory. So, honestly, way too much fun. I had so much fun watching this pay-per-view and talking about it and writing my little notes for it. Yeah, it was so fun. I hope that this video brought some rest, some relaxation, and some tingles. I know it's very long, so if you made it to this point, you're amazing.